everybody, and welcome to the first off-season video. I know, I've taken a week or so off, but it's time because the transfer window is upon us. So we need to talk about what Grant McCann is going to do this summer. He said that he doesn't have to sell to buy players, and he's got free right within his budget, of course, to go out and get who he wants. Now, I'm going to balance the rumours that have been flying around and what I think we should do to come to the conclusion, to build what would be an ideal transfer window from my perspective. We're going to start off with, I've got a full document just on here of all the different sections which we're going to go through. We're going to start off with loan deals that we have had this season. So we've had a Delican who has gone back, so he's not included in this conversation. But there's Regan Slater, Dan Crowley and Gavin White. 3 players there. Would I try and bring back any of them, whether it's permanently or whether it's on loan again? I would. Now, if you'd have asked me in March, I would probably have said no to Regan Slater. However, he came in defensive midfield against Gillingham, and since then looked impeccable. There's a reason he's highly rated at Sheffield United, which we didn't see before he came in that game. And since then he's carried it on and proved everyone who doubted him, including myself, wrong. So Regan Slater is someone I would look at potentially bringing back. Next, there's Dan Crowley. Now, with Crowley, he's a fantastic footballer. We've seen glimpses of his pure, how he can play one pass and open up an attack. When he first joined us, we saw that when he was playing on the left wing. However, what was always sticking with Crowley was his positioning. When he played left wing, he drifted inside, and when he was playing in attacking midfield, he drifted out to the left. And when we played him in his natural position of attacking midfield, because we didn't have the defensive midfielder, the whole team fell apart, and the way we play doesn't allow him to play his natural role. But in the Championship, you need the sorts of players that can just switch on really quick. We had that in John Torral, we saw briefly, but Torral, he was very injury prone. You saw it was the last game he played in front of fans, I think it was against Barnsley, and just the way he switched on and could play a pass, the rest of the team couldn't keep up with it. It's those sorts of players that you need in the Championship who can just bang a pass out anywhere and it can open up a few different options. So I would keep Crowley. And then there's Gavin White as well. I'd keep Gavin White. I'd keep... if we're going to sign a right winger, which I think we need to, I think the priority list has to be him, Gavin White, and then a Hakeem Delican. Because a Delican has been released by Bristol City. If we're going to need it, I'd prioritise White over Delican, personally. Gavin White, 4 goals since he joined us in January. Fantastic, fantastic player. I'd keep him. Moving on then to contract renewals. Out of contract at the end of this season are George Long, Reece Burke, Alfie Jones, Max Clark, Max Sheaf and Josh McGuinness. Now, McGuinness keep. Long's an interesting one because I personally would keep him around, even if it's just give him a new contract just to sell him on for something in the summer if McCann wants to do that. Reece Burke I'd keep on. Alfie Jones is an absolute must. And Josh McGuinness as well. Keep them all on. Max Clark is an interesting one because we've obviously got Brandon Fleming and we've still got Callum Elder as well. We have options for an extra year on all of them but Clark, and I'm not sure about Sheaf. We'll touch on Max Sheaf in a minute because he's in a different situation to the rest of them. So Clark, if we keep him, we have to let Brandon Fleming go out on loan, or something along those lines, because we cannot let Brandon Fleming rot in the reserves for another year. So it seems as though that's what McCann does a lot, because we saw it with Batty. He got very limited game time and he left. So if we're going to keep Clark, I'd send Fleming out on loan. If we don't keep Clark, if we don't renew his contract, I would keep Brandon Fleming here as backup, and I'd utilise him as well. You've got to utilise him in cups. And Brandon Fleming got very unlucky last season because when he played amazingly, but it was the former Callum Elder that just kept him out the team. And we'll touch on Max Sheaf now as well. Sheaf, I'd send him out on loan again. I'd keep it, I'd give him a new contract, then I'd send him out on loan because we know that there's a player in there. However, if the fact that he's a young player and he's not been given a contract already by the club, like Brandon Fleming was earlier this season, I'd probably say that it looks unlikely we'll keep him on. But I'd like to keep Max Sheaf. I'd keep everybody. That's all there really is to it. On to departures then. So Jordi Device is at the top of this list I've got here. He has already left the club. He has gone out. He was gone permanently to QPR for a fee of around £400,000 to £500,000. He's gone. Staying in the centre back area, probably two or maybe even all three of Festus Arter, Andy Smith, and Jake Leake need to go out on loan and get some experience. Arter is very unlucky because he was due, I believe, to go out on loan to Rochdale in January, but picked up a thigh injury in training, which prevented him from doing that and has kept him out for the remainder of the season. Andy Smith, he played brilliant. He played amazing. Is that even the right grammar? I don't know. He played really well when he made his debut against Fleetwood in the Papa Johns. And Jake Leake as well. He's won. I'm not sure on the actual title. I'll try and have a look just on the fly here for you at what Jake Leake won. It was something like Hull City Executive Club Under 18 Player of the Year. That's it. So Jake Leake won Under 18's Player of the Year, and when Jacob Greaves did that, or something similar to that, he got an opportunity out on loan at Cheltenham, who were going to be in League One next season. So sending all of those three potentially out on loan would benefit them massively. Moving away from the defence, going to move into the midfield and the wings now. Martin Samuelson is out on loan at Aalborg. There's certain clauses or obligations in there which mean he has to go there permanently. I am of the belief now that Martin Samuelson has played his last game in a Hull City shirt, so he will depart like Device. I think we should let James Scott go out on loan as well, because Scott, limited opportunities this season. When he played in the back end of the season, he looked as though he was lacking confidence massively. In the Papa Johns, he looked great, so sending him out to someone like a Portsmouth at the top end of League One, maybe a Charlton, someone like that who'll be at the sharp end in League One to get him some experience and make him the player that all us Hull City fans thought and know he could be when we signed him from Motherwell. And finally, there's a striker situation. We're keeping McGuinness, so I would let Tom Eaves go. As much as I love him, as much as he's a brilliant, brilliant bloke, I would let him go. yeah. I just don't think, we saw in the Championship, I don't think Eves, even though he got more goals than McGuinness, brought enough to the team. We saw in League One when he played, if you look at his record in that division, we all expected more. We didn't have that. So I think at this point it's time that we let Tom Eves head on to pastures new, maybe go back to Gillingham or somewhere like that, so we can bring in someone else. And talking of bringing in someone else, it's time to look at arrivals. So I have got a list here of what I think we should prioritise, and some rumours that are flying about as well. So I think we need to balance this young squad. We need a little bit of experience in there as well, to nurture the youngsters. A new backup striker and a winger as well. Now, a lot of these are based on rumours that have been flying about in recent weeks. First of all, we'll go to centre-back. There's been rumours of Curtis Davies' return. He's leaving Derby, I do believe. So, and he's said himself that he'd be open to a return. And even though he's not the same player that he was for us in the Premier League, he lost a yard of pace, yes, but at centre-back he can sort of get away with that. And if he's not going to play week in, week out, just have him there as a dressing room leader sort of figure to help nurture Jacob Greaves, Alfie Jones, Reece Burke, Sean McLaughlin. There's Arter, Smith, Leake, who I've all mentioned as well. Have him in there to nurture those sorts of players. Also at centre-back, if we don't keep Burke, or Jones, and we want a little bit more backup in there, if Lincoln don't go up, we could look at somebody like a Lewis Montsma. He was very good when we played them in the Papa John's Trophy, if I do remember correctly, and I won't be against bringing him in. I've also got written down here the possibility of Tommy Elphick coming back. He's just been released by Huddersfield, but no. As much as it'd be, ooh, Tommy, we love you, Tommy, I don't think so. There's a reason Huddersfield have released him. No. He's not got the sort of legend status that Curtis Davies has at this club, and the history of playing at the top level for us. So for me, Elphick is a no-go. Moving into midfield, there's the name Dan Crowley written in there. As I've said, try and bring him in. There's Regan Slater there as well. But experience. There's obviously going to be more opportunities for Jordan Flores next season. There's going to be more for Callum Jones next season. But one name I want to mention to you all is Tom Huddleston. Huddleston, again, interview, says, I won't mind coming back. Again, he lost a lot of pace. Huddleston was never the most mobile player when he played for us in the Premier League anyway. But if we're bringing him in for the same purpose I've said, we're bringing Curtis Davies to be that dressing room leader, to nurture the youngsters, nurture a Callum Jones, a Regan Slater if we bring him back in, help Honeyman and Doherty in that regard. That'd be a brilliant signing. And Scott Fraser as well. That's a rumour that's been linked. That's a rumour that's been flying around. I've touched on right wing already, but I'll just go for it again. First priority is Gavin White. Then we go, if we can't get Gavin White, then we go for a Delican on a free. And up top, new backup striker. There's obviously the link with Josh Windass. For me, it's an easy link to make with his dad's history with the club and it being his hometown club. But that's not for me. The main target, rumoured, is Dion Charles. I'd go for Dion Charles as well if we're looking for a new backup striker. Anyway, that is the end of the video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please do slap a like on it. Subscribe if you're new for all content covering the Euros and Hull City on the off-season. And I will see you very soon with another one. Adios.